These terms, gerrymandering and redistricting, create districts that are, let's just say, weird or peculiar. And if you look at a state, the state, let's just think of a generic state that is a rectangle, and you will have a strange line running right through the middle, but then curving north and then ducking south, and it looks like a little bit of a snake. And hey, that's a congressional district. And you'll be like, why is it drawn in that way? And the answer is to influence the outcome of how many congressmen, if it's a blue state, how many blue congressmen, if it's a red state, how many red congressmen or women are going to emerge in the next midterm or presidential election. Now, gerrymandering, if described this way, looks like a kind of offense against democracy. Because if there's one thing it does, is it makes sure that districts or that states are not representative of the people who live in those states. And here's what I mean by that. If you take a state that is 60-40 red or 60-40 blue, what the redistrictors try to do, the dominant political force in a given state, is make sure that the number of congressmen in the red state is not 60-40, but something more like 80-20 or 90-10. There's hardly one or two Democrats in the red state, or there are hardly one or two Republicans in the blue state. Now, this is going on right now as the legislature in Texas is in the process of redistricting Texas, a red state, to create more red districts. And this can be done through a very careful kind of mathematical calculation of where the voters are. And what is likely to happen is that this gerrymander is going to knock out at least a couple, if not more, of prominent Democrats who are currently in the House. Henry Cuellar might have his district redistricted. Vicente Gonzalez, these are both guys in the southern part of Texas, the Rio Grande Valley. But there's also redistricting that's being aimed at Dallas, at Houston, and at Austin, San Antonio. Now, there's a predictable shriek going on from the Democrats that say, in effect, oh my gosh, this is an attack on democracy. Democrats are, let's just say, roughly 30 to 35% of the voters in Texas. How come they aren't 30% of the congressional representation of Texas? And the simple answer to that question is this, and that is that the Democrats have been redistricting heavily all along, and Republicans are finally catching up and playing the same game as the Democrats. So if the Democrats have been redistricting as they have in the blue states, why shouldn't Republicans retaliate and redistrict in the red states? Now, admittedly, that's going to create some distortions in the red states, but those distortions will match the distortions in the blue states. And really what ends up happening is you end up getting a balance of Republican and Democratic congressmen that more accurately reflects the balance in the country. So let me start by showing the Democratic lopsidedness that we are already living with. Let's look at the 2024 election. The Republicans won the popular vote in the House by 3%, but they got essentially a tie among congressmen. They got a 5-seat majority. In 2016, by contrast, Republicans won the House popular vote by 1%, and they had a 47-seat majority. Now, how is this possible? How is it that our majority, the GOP majority, has narrowed so much? Short answer, Democratic gerrymandering, Democratic redistricting. So let me talk about some of these Democratic states. In California, Republicans are 40% of the statewide vote. Do Republicans have 40% of congressional seats? No. They have 9 out of 52. In Massachusetts, they're 35% of the statewide vote. Do they have 35% of congressmen? No. 0 out of 9. In Connecticut, they're 38, almost 40% of the statewide vote. The number of Republican congressmen in Connecticut, 0. New York, 42% of the statewide vote. 7 out of 26 congressmen. And down it goes. New Jersey, Maryland, New Mexico, Hawaii. I can give you all the numbers, but the pattern persists. So this is not democracy. Now, we would like to say, hey, Democrats, stop doing it. But Republicans have learned, I think through bitter experience, that telling these people to do this doesn't work. In a time when Hollywood continues to peddle all kinds of moral confusion and cultural decay, Angel Studios is doing something quite remarkable, creating films that inspire, reflect our values. Their latest release, Sketch, is a prime example. Imagine Stranger Things meets Inside Out, but with virtue, imagination, and heart at the center. The story follows a young girl whose sketchbook falls into a mysterious pond only to have her wild, colorful drawings spring to life. This is a suspenseful, funny, deeply moving film entertainment with a moral compass. If you're a Premium Angel Guild member, you already have 2 free tickets waiting for Sketch in theaters starting August 6th. If not, now is the time to join and take a stand for media that strengthens families instead of tearing them down. You'll also unlock Angel's entire streaming library, content that aligns with faith, freedom, and truth. Visit angel.com/Dinesh today. Become a part of the Angel Guild. Get your 2 free tickets to Sketch in theaters August 6th. Angel.com/Dinesh.